Jayson Tatum's controversial top 5 list sparks NBA debate. Jayson Tatum, the Boston Celtics' young superstar, has once again found himself at the center of the basketball conversation. This time, it wasn't because of a game-winning shot, a dominant playoff performance, or his role in the Celtics' pursuit of Banner 18. Instead, it was a simple but powerful revelation: his personal list of the top 5 greatest players in NBA history. On the surface, such lists might feel routine. After all, debates about the GOAT, greatest of all time, are as old as the NBA itself. But what made Tatum's answer different, and why it's sparking heated conversations, is that the face of the Celtics franchise openly placed two Los Angeles Lakers legends in his top 5. For Celtics fans, a group that has spent decades clashing with their purple and gold rivals, the move raised more than a few eyebrows. The top 5 that shook Celtics Nation. Tatum's list included many of the names you'd expect, but what stood out were Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Kobe Bryant. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the 6-time NBA champion and all-time leading scorer until recently surpassed by LeBron James. Famous for his skyhook, Kareem remains one of the most dominant big men in history. Kobe Bryant, the 5-time NBA champion and global icon whose Mamba mentality reshaped how an entire generation of players approached the game. For Celtics fans, hearing a homegrown star give that level of recognition to Lakers royalty felt unusual. Boston and Los Angeles have long defined the league's greatest rivalry. From Bill Russell vs. Wilt Chamberlain to Magic Johnson vs. Larry Bird, the two franchises have fought for supremacy for over half a century. Together, they account for 34 NBA championships. So when Tatum, a player who could one day go down as one of Boston's all-time greats, put Lakers legends on a pedestal, it felt like he crossed an invisible line. But at the same time, his pick spoke to something bigger, a shift in how modern players view NBA history. Respect over rivalry. To understand Tatum's perspective, it helps to realize how the new generation of stars consumes basketball history. Unlike fans who lived through the Celtics-Lakers clashes of the 1960s, 80s, or even 2008 and 2010, today's players grew up in an era where YouTube highlights, documentaries, and social media provide access to every great moment across decades. For Tatum, Kobe Bryant wasn't just a Laker, he was a mentor. The two shared workouts and conversations before Bryant's tragic passing in 2020. Tatum has openly credited Kobe for shaping his approach to preparation, mental toughness, and leadership. He even wore a purple armband with Bryant's initials during the 2020 NBA bubble playoffs. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, though from an earlier era, represents the type of excellence that transcends team allegiances. His combination of skill, longevity, and cultural impact is impossible to ignore. For young stars like Tatum, leaving Kareem off a top 5 list almost feels like disrespect to the foundation of the game. In that sense, Tatum's list is less about Celtics versus Lakers and more about acknowledging greatness wherever it exists. The endless debate: what makes someone top 5? Tatum's comments also reignite the broader question: what criteria should define the top 5 greatest players of all time? Different fans, analysts, and players use different measures. Won championships. Bill Russell's 11 titles often get cited, as do Michael Jordan's 6. But then, does Robert Horry's 7 rings make him greater than Shaq? Most say no too. Stats: Kareem scoring, Wilt's rebounding, Westbrook's triple-doubles, raw numbers can dominate the conversation. 3. Era dominance: how far ahead of their peers was a player? Jordan in the 90s and Shaq in the early 2000s fit this mold. For cultural impact, Allen Iverson may not be a top 5 player statistically, but his influence on basketball culture is undeniable. 5. Longevity and consistency: LeBron James has played at an elite level for over 2 decades, forcing his name into any GOAT conversation. Tatum's list, though not fully revealed in detail, seems to balance dominance, cultural relevance, and personal connection. Including Kobe isn't just about rings, it's about what he represented to a generation of young players. Including Kareem isn't just about stats, it's about respecting a legend who carried the league through the 70s and 80s. Celtics fans react: betrayal or maturity? The fan response to Tatum's remarks has been divided. Traditionalists, some Celtics loyalists view it as a betrayal. For them, the rivalry with the Lakers isn't just history, it's part of what makes being a Celtics fan meaningful. To praise Lakers legends feels like crossing enemy lines. Modern fans, younger Celtics fans, are more accepting. Many grew up idolizing Kobe themselves, so they understand why Tatum would include him. They see it as maturity, a willingness to recognize greatness regardless of jersey color. NBA neutrals: for fans without a stake in Boston versus LA, Tatum's list feels refreshing. It shows how players respect each other across eras and rivalries. Comparing Tatum's list to other stars' top 5's, Tatum isn't the first modern player to stir debate with his all-time list. LeBron James has consistently placed Jordan, Kobe, Magic, and himself in his top players, often emphasizing both legacy and respect. Kevin Durant has highlighted his appreciation for Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, and others who shaped his basketball education. Stephen Curry has praised Magic Johnson, Jordan, and Kobe, showing his respect for players who inspired his generation. What these lists show is that Kobe Bryant appears almost universally in the top 5 of current stars. His influence transcends stats and leans heavily on mentorship and inspiration. Kareem's presence is rarer among modern players but adds historical weight to Tatum's selections. Legacy and the weight of opinion. Why do we care so much about Tatum's list? On paper, it's just an opinion, but in practice, when a star of his caliber speaks, it adds fuel to the never-ending GOAT debate. Tatum isn't just any player, he's the face of the Celtics, a team with 17 championships, tied with the Lakers' foremost in NBA history. His perspective represents not just a young star's personal taste, but also how the next generation of superstars interprets basketball history. And that matters because today's players aren't just athletes, they are influencers. Their opinions shape fan debates, media discussions, and even how future players approach the game. A reflection of NBA's evolution. Tatum's recognition of Lakers legends also reflects how the NBA itself has evolved. Globalization. The league is bigger than just Boston versus LA now. Fans from Europe, Africa, and Asia consume NBA history in its entirety, not through the lens of one rivalry. Player empowerment. Modern athletes aren't afraid to break from tradition. They can show respect for rivals, speak their mind, and influence culture without fear of alienating their base. Narrative shifts. In the social media era, rivalries burn differently. Celtics-Lakers still matters, but it's no longer the only story. Fans debate LeBron versus Jordan more than Boston versus LA. Where does Tatum fit in this history? Of course, the irony of all this is that Tatum himself is writing his own legacy. At just 27, he's already a perennial all-star, an NBA Finals participant, and the face of one of the most storied franchises in sports. If he can deliver a championship to Boston, his name will one day enter conversations about all-time greats. For now, though, Tatum is still a student of the game, paying homage to the giants whose shoulders he stands on. His inclusion of Kareem and Kobe is less about Celtics versus Lakers and more about showing respect to the history that shaped the NBA. At the end of the day, Tatum's top 5 list is less about controversy and more about perspective. It's a reminder that the NBA story is bigger than rivalries, bigger than cities, and bigger than rings. Kobe Bryant and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar may wear the Lakers' purple and gold in memory, but their greatness belongs to the game itself. By including them, Tatum demonstrates that respect for history is more powerful than any rivalry. And while fans may continue to argue, debating Jordan versus LeBron, Kareem versus Shaq, Magic versus Bird, what matters most is that the conversation lives on, fueled by stars like Tatum who aren't afraid to share their truth. Because in the end, debates like these are the lifeblood of the NBA, keeping fans connected to the past while looking forward to the future.